Let's do a little bit of cleanup before we start trying to write our own script. First, I've added this cube button to my shelf and I don't really want it, so I am going to go into my shelf editor, and in my shelf editor I can come here into my shelf contents. Incidentally, you'll see that I am on my demo shelf script, that's right here. So I can come into my shelf contents, here's that polycube command, and I can just hit this little trash icon and that will get rid of it. I will click Save All Shelves, and now that command will be removed from my shelf. The next thing I want to talk about is the script that we wrote last time. When I look at it in my script editor, there are a few things that I want to point out. The first one is that I'm seeing a number of different colors. There's this lovely kind of tealy blue color, very bright cyan. This color means that I am looking at an active command. So in this script, the command is polycube. I'm also seeing a lot of these dashes. The dashes indicate that this is a flag, and a flag is something that will act on a command to make it more specific or more special. So this flag is the width flag, the height, the depth. Anytime I want more information about a command or a flag, what I can do is I can come up here to Help, Scripting Reference, and this is the Mel Command Reference. When you open that up, it's going to look like this, which again I know is a little bit intimidating, but what I like to do is I like to take this all commands here and say, I want more information about polycube. I'm going to click on P. This will take me over to the P's. I know they're listed alphabetically, so I can come here through all of these polys, and eventually I'll get to polycube. This tells me what the polycube command does. The cube command creates a new polygonal cube. Then down here it gives me a list of all of the available flags. It will list the full name of the flag, the abbreviation of the flag. So there's D for depth, H for height. Look, I can also add a name flag to this, so I can name my cube as soon as it's created. That sounds pretty useful. It will result in an object. I can change the number of subdivisions along the depth, along the height, along the width. So by knowing all of this, I can come back and I can make changes to that line with a little bit more information. The command line will even go so far as to give me examples. So this example, if I copied and pasted it into my script editor, would give me a cube that is 20 units high with 10 subdivisions along X. So, you know, that's pretty cool. As I read along to the end of the line, I can see that the line ends in a semicolon. Anytime you're working with a C derivative language, a semicolon indicates the end of a line. It's like having a period at the end of your sentence. So if this sentence is, make me a cube that's 1 wide, 1 high, and 1 deep, that's my whole sentence. There's my semicolon. It ends the sentence. When I come down to the next line, I can see that it doesn't end in a semicolon. What it has instead is these two slashes. These two slashes are called comments, and what they mean is that this is something that can be written in plain text. It will never appear in the scene, it's just there for me so that I can remember what I've done. So in this case, it says result, pcube1, polycube1, you made a cube, good job! I could take this out and change it and say, you made a cube, good job, I'm writing all of that in plain text because it doesn't affect the command at all. So when we look at this, the things that are important to remember are that you should see different colors. There should be this blue color every time you put in a command. These dashes are for flags. Flags are things that edit the command in order to make it do certain things. Every line should end with a semicolon, and you can always use these two slash marks to make a comment. Comments are in plain text, and you can use them to help you remember what the script is supposed to be doing. I'll end with this thought. Scripting is case sensitive. So every time I'm looking at a script in Mel, I'm probably going to be seeing things like this, where it's poly, all lowercase, and then an uppercase C to break between the two words. That's a pretty standard formatting, and anytime you're working with a compound word, it's probably going to look like that. So just remember that when you are writing your scripts, if you see something and it's not the right color, just check your spelling and check your capitalization. So I will hold off here, and pretty soon we will start working on our first real script.